Don't mess with me, pork chop. What day is this?
It's February 2nd. Groundhog Day.
You know, I thought it was yesterday.
Oh.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. And, it's been an interesting, time in the comic book industry. And one thing that we've noticed is the absolute silence from Marvel Comics. And, we finally did, of course, hear from Donny Cates, a couple of days ago. But otherwise, it's been all quiet on the Western Front when it comes to Marvel Comics. And here to talk with me about that today is Larry from Larry Comics. How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling very safe now that Donny Cates is the leader of the Marvel world. I mean, he's rallying all the troops, and I just feel fantastic. I mean,
it does seem that he's taken a more leadership position, doesn't it?
It's cool to see he's excited and he's being a company man and he's rallying the troops. I mean, that's a good sign. He is the number one writer right now.
Basically, if you look at the sales and everything, maybe it's Hickman because of Dawn of X and the sales of X-Men and New Mutants.
Do you really think Hickman's working on any titles, or are they paying him to slap his name on stuff? Doesn't seem like he's writing very much.
House of X Powers of 10 absolutely felt like Hickman.
Oh yeah, the main series absolutely. But then afterwards, when Jordan White split it off into way too many titles, I don't think that it felt.
His heart doesn't feel like
Hickman-esque.
it's in it right now. I'll give you that.
True.
So most of the news that we've gotten about Marvel Comics has been rather bad. We had a lot of the creators saying they were pencils down, they weren't working on their projects right now, and now we know that they laid off or furloughed half of their.
Furloughed is very different than laid off. Furloughed means we're pausing, we're taking a breath. Is Marvel cutting down 1/3 of their line a terrible thing? I think that's a good thing. I mean,
I think it would be healthy for the industry.
Huge. There's too many books, man.
Well, there's too many non-sellers. There's too many. They actually produce monthly comics that ship under 5,000 regularly.
They do. Some of those are obviously tied to, we've got a movie coming out and they want to have something on the shelves. Like when Marvel first started movies, they made the mistake of, people would come in from the Iron Man movie and there'd be no Iron Man books. Or Spider-Man movie, there'd be no current Spider-Man book. They want to make sure that there's something, on the shelves. So.
Mm-hmm. But how do you feel as a retailer? How do you feel about this silence that they're not really putting out public information? It doesn't seem like they have a plan. I'm sure that they do,
scary.
But they're not really.
It's scary. This entire situation could have been so much less stressful if Diamond, DC, and Marvel communicated decently to us as a group. I mean, their silence and their complete confusing communication, just caused an unnecessary level of stress.
As a retailer, if you're sitting there with no information, you have customers that want answers, and you want to make plans on what you're going to do with your business. What's your strategy moving forward? We're all dealing with something, it's all regional, but you're in New York, or I believe you're on the East Coast. I'm not sure if you're in New York.
Yeah, I'm in Lowell, Massachusetts. Yeah, 20 miles north of Boston.
That's like I think that has the 5th highest rate of coronavirus in the country. I'm sure you're all shut down.
Oh, yeah.
I think, Pele's in Tennessee, so it's a little bit different there. Perch is up there in Washington. You all need the information so you can figure out what you're going to do with your business moving forward.
I mean, are those guys trying to figure out what they're doing with their business? Is that the reason for the silence? I mean, you just don't know.
Well, at least from DC, they have a strategy. They're planning. They came up with new distribution. Of course, that was not universally loved, and in fact, it seemed like a lot of retailers pushed back on that. And they seem to have digital going now. At least a plan with that. But Marvel,
very very vanilla, is releasing vanilla digital. I know. I saw on Twitter that you like the Robert Venditti story.
Absolutely, he's great. My favorite writer.
If you release mediocre quality material digitally, I don't think it makes anybody want to buy your print stuff.
No, I mean, Marvel does that all the time. They already have Marvel digital exclusive comics, and no one cares about them because they're all very, very mediocre?
Marvel has been releasing like some legendary storylines, making them free on one of their digital platforms at least, and that has resulted in they made Donny Cates's Thanos run
Absolutely.
free, and I've got half a dozen sales with people saying, "What else has Donny Cates written?" You know, we've sold a bunch of his other stuff. I mean, I've always said that digital should be the spinner rack of the new generation. I mean, I think that digital should be free or cheap and just rope them in. More eyes on comics is a good thing. I used to fear it. I don't anymore. I've seen firsthand at the register, like say a wife will buy her husband Marvel Unlimited for a Christmas gift, and then he's a lapsed fan. He hasn't read in 20 years. He'll get hooked on something that brings him back into the store. I mean, digital, but it should be the best material, should be at the forefront for digital. Full storylines, best stuff. The, you know, putting the vanilla Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman from the Walmart deal digital, it's doing nothing for anybody.
Some people are enjoying it. At least they have something new to buy. But I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I think Marvel's strategy of putting out some of those quality, newer, classic stories, along with Dark Phoenix Saga and stuff, was really smart. Way smarter than actually the DC Essentials, where it's like the #1 issue of a bunch of their classic stories. I think having the full story arc really gets you in there. I've been reading. I went and bought a bunch of Ed Brubaker, Captain America trades after reading The Winter Soldier, because I'd heard about the run, but I'd never actually read it before.
Right now, tons of people are home, tons of people are bored. It's time to attack and put your best stuff out there free and see if you can rope them in. I mean, it's a great period for outreach in publishing right now.
Getting back to what Marvel has done, lately, which it hasn't been much, does it worry you about the future of the company and seeing the amount of furloughs that they've had, seeing the people that aren't working on projects right now, or do you think Marvel will come back just like they were before?
I don't know what translates to Marvel, but a couple years ago, the Spider-Verse movie made like a $280 million profit. The company that owns that is never going to close down the division that cheaply made all those IPs. There's always the big companies that own those guys aren't going to cut loose publishing. When your Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales are less than 5 years old, and some interpretation of those characters has made $280 million profit, the company's never going to stop publishing. So,
well, I agree with you, but do you think it'll be more streamlined? Do you think maybe there'll be less event-centric, or do you think it'll be business as usual?
I think that they're going to take a good look at their publishing line, and I think they're going to streamline it. I think Marvel had this carpet bomb the industry mentality where they were just covering the shelves with, swill. I mean, there's too many Spider-Man books. There's too many X books. There's just too much unnecessary stuff. I think that they're going to take a long look at what they're doing, and I think that in 90 days, you're going to get every publisher's best foot forward. I think everybody's going to come out with their Sunday punch, their best stuff, and I think it's ultimately going to be good. It's going to be we're going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw. Here we come. So, it's going to be great.
Talking a little bit about DC's new distribution that they kind of brought online, Lunar and UCS. Let's say that that's actually a success here on, I guess it's today. It's the 28th here at least. It's a success. And in a couple of weeks, there's good word of mouth about the distribution. People are happy with the products that they got. It was done well. Do you see Marvel also adopting those two companies, and then we'll have true competition as far as distribution for retailers?
I've said from day one, I think on your show, that I fully believe that Midtown and DCBS is a temporary situation. I think that this is all going to go away shortly. Everybody else thinks it's here to stay. I just can't see it. It's a redundancy. I mean, it's just two other distributors distributing the same stuff. I mean, I can't see it. I think that Diamond and DC are at odds right now over something, and they're going to come together. I mean,
Well,
in my opinion, I can't see Diamond being in breach of their contract as exclusive distributors because they shut down because of a pandemic when they were ordered to shut down.
there were other people distributing books and magazines nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's for the lawyers, obviously, to
it's for
discuss.
the lawyers. There's other people distributing books, but DC's printer shut down. We're only talking about 1 week's worth of books that they had to distribute. The next 3 weeks that we're getting from Midtown and DCBS is that 1 week split into 3. Diamond was shut down by the state. DC's printer shut down, and UPS wasn't delivering to non-essential businesses. I mean, I think DC kind of overreacted to what they thought retailers wanted.
I think
I love Midtown. I love DCBS. I'm just not ordering, I don't know, from 3 distributors. It's a redundancy in my business.
I think that DC probably, Jim Lee specifically was called into a room and was asked, there are other, properties that we have that are being shipped out, their books and things like that. Why are the comics not being shipped out? And he's like, well, Diamond Comics is shut down right now. They're like, well, why? There are other avenues for distribution. Why are you stuck only on them? And I think he came up with this solution.
And they forgot to tell him that his printer was shut down.
I'm sure that they have access to more than one printer.
Oh, maybe.
But
the next Transcontinental started up last Friday, I was told, and I don't know. That means
I think it's going to be more permanent because I don't think that DC ever wants there to be a situation where Diamond shutting down just halts distribution, period.
Yeah, but when did anything like this happen in my lifetime or your lifetime? I've never seen anything like this.
I haven't either. This is crazy.
I don't know. Maybe this is their pandemic plan. I like other retailers. I love the guys at Midtown. I love the guys at DCBS. I've used both places for reorders. Like if something was out of print and I needed it for a customer, I've ordered from them. They're both great mail order companies. I'm sure they're going to do a fantastic job. I see no threat like the other retailers are all crying. That's their competitors. I don't view them as competitors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. I guess it's good. Now we have 3 places to order the same books. It's just a pissing contest.
You could get better rates. You could get better service. There could be other options that, and you get to pick the one whose service best suits you, in the future. We don't know that,
More
of course, because we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I saw on Bleeding Cool the packaging from one of the places. It looked better than Diamond. I mean, Diamond. I went to their warehouse one time to look at a large deal, and I noticed that the books were being packed by prisoners. They had jail vans outside, like workaday prisoners, like a chain gang was packing the books at one point at a Diamond warehouse. So yeah, I think we can get a little better service.
Like the dude from Shawshank Redemption, where he was using the prisoners to do contracts.
They brought in like 6 vans of guys who are in there doing whatever tasks they were doing in a Diamond warehouse. I mean, we can do better.
That's crazy. Well, Larry, we are short on time today. I do apologize. Do you have anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap this up?
Well, I was enjoying a meal of tap water with my family because I've been watching YouTube and I've heard that all comic shops in the comic shop industry is going out of business. So maybe me and you could get together and talk about that.
I would love to talk about that because I know you've got things to say. I've got opinions on this as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Next time. Have fun.
All right, this is a date. Later, buddy.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.